bit of hair is determined to be on my face today, so apologies. Being a musician can be incredibly expensive, and considering that we're often not on the highest salary in the room, what can we do to actually make sure that we come home with some form of profit margin? The first and probably biggest category is equipment. We need our instruments, our amps, our pedal boards, all of that. We need it in order to do our job. But there are some ways that we can cut costs a little bit. The first thing is to only buy what you actually need. Yes, fancy cases are beautiful. I have a few on my wish list myself. They can set you back thousands in some cases. So have a look, do some research, and only buy what you actually need. Another really great way of cutting down the costs is to find your local workshop and build a really good relationship with them. I'm so lucky that I have an incredible luthier, literally a very short drive from my house. And because I've been taking my viola to him since I was in college, now if I'm having a little bit of an annoying niggly problem, like for example the other day, my peg was like skipping between notes and it wouldn't land on being in tune. It was driving me mad, and I'd done all the things I could. So I just took it into him, he had a little bit of a look at it, did a couple of things, gave it back to me, didn't charge me a penny, because he knows that in me, he has a returning customer. I am always going to go to him if I have an issue with my instrument. So therefore, if I'd gone to somebody completely new, they probably would have charged me a little bit for that, even though it's just like a tiny little job. And last but by no means least, eBay. Now, eBay is my favorite place for shopping, full stop. But you can find barely used or even brand new equipment on there for an absolute fraction of the cost. So have a bit of a rummage through and you'll be amazed at what you can find. Concert clothes. Again, eBay. Basically, every single item of clothing that I wear for any concert has likely come from eBay. I quite like nice clothes, being perfectly honest with you, but they can get really expensive. So I buy basically all of my concert clothes on eBay. And remember, concert clothes are tax deductible. Traveling is probably my biggest expense, and it was something that got, quite frankly, a little bit out of hand a couple of years ago. So I started looking really closely at ways that I could cut some costs in this area. And one of the biggest things that I found was that driving was often not the cheapest way to get somewhere. It can feel the most convenient, and also because trains are expensive, I get it. Remember, if you are 30 or under, you can get yourself a rail card. Oh, mine runs out this year and I'm in mourning already. Often, if you're driving, the cost of fuel and the parking, especially if you're parking within a city, can be insane. So have a look at your other options. My favourite one actually is the coach, and a lot of people turn their noses up at the coach, but I mean, I will say this, National Express over Megabus. Every time. But you get a guaranteed seat. The timings that they say that they'll arrive are almost always correct, because remember, these coach drivers know all the ways around. So if there's an accident on the motorway that if you were driving you'd probably get stuck in, they know the sneaky route around. So a lot of the time I find if I get the coach and there are problems on the roads, I arrive there a lot sooner than the people that drove. Although if you do have to drive, apps like Just Park are amazing. This is where you can basically rent somebody's driveway for the day, and again, if you're having to park in a city centre, this will be by far the cheapest way. Make sure that you check that before you go and spend 30 quid on all-day parking in a multi-storey. And now we come to my second biggest expense, and that is food. We are often having to find food at quite random times of day, and often this will mean that you have to eat out in a restaurant. Obviously, bringing food from home is always going to be the preferred option, but if you're away for a few days or if you're there all day, chances are you're not going to be able to bring everything with you. So one of my big things is that I try and go for food where the leftovers are nice, either later that evening when I've got the post-concert munchies, or the next day and they'll be nice heated up at home, because then at the very least you've gotten 2 meals out of your expensive meal rather than just the one. Now, if I'm away somewhere for a longer period of time, say you've got a week patch with an orchestra, something like that, or you're on tour, I always try and get accommodation where there are cooking facilities. And then at the start of the week, I basically do a food shop. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't go out and socialise. Please do, enjoy yourself. We're not trying to become hermits here. But it just means things like breakfast, or I can pack my lunch and bring it with me and then go out with people for dinner in the evening. Honestly, the amount of money this saves is unbelievable, and you'll also find that you feel a bit better during the week, because if you have ever eaten out for an entire week for every meal, by the end of it, you don't feel so good. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can feel very heavy, very sluggish, and extremely tired. Having a little bit of your kind of regular routine when you're out is also a side benefit of the saving money situation. Tax. The joy of our life. Do your research and figure out what you can claim back as an expense. As a musician, it's actually a lot more than you might think, and this could be an area that you can really save yourself a lot of money. And also, I know you don't want to hear this, but save for it in advance. Just throughout the year, put a little bit aside. It will make your life so much easier when it comes to actually paying that tax bill. I know you don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. I know, I'm sorry, but just do it, trust me. And then insurance. If you're a member of the MU, you actually get up to £3,000 of insurance included in your membership. So check out your options there. I'll leave their website linked in the description box. If you have any money saving tips that you found really, really helpful, then please do comment them down below. Let's help each other out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.